Hey, and goodness to you. This is Sporty King coming to you live on Wednesday. It's going to be a good Wednesday, but I always like to say goodness, not knowing whether you're listening in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. But I just like putting good in front of stuff because a lot of times we wait to put good in the back. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's good to look back and see the good. But sometimes we have to get to where we see the good coming. You ever hear somebody say, I see the bad thing coming? You have to see the good coming. And it'll make you even more appreciative of just how good God is. So I always my broadcast will start at 1 o'clock Eastern, and I always get on at least 5 minutes early. To I try 3 to 5 minutes early, is depends on how my day is going, because I like to give the technology a chance to do what they call build the audience. It's personal choice when you decide that you're going to do a live broadcast on how you want to make that thing work for you. Okay, so don't think there's only one way to do it. The reason I do it that way is because I believe that okay. Hey, here's, and I get to say my shout outs too. What's going on, Zelda? Zelda Woman, my sister in Chicago. Thank you. It is so, yeah, again, see, that's why I get on early. I got less than 4 minutes before my message today. But I want to get those shout outs to them. Oh my God. Oh, Chicago coming at the house, my coach. Tawana, what's happening? Yeah, happy birthday. And you know what? Now check this out. Y'all know how I roll, right? Y'all know how I roll. Tawana, that happy birthday, that's for my 65th birthday, because I ain't finished selling 60, finished celebrating 65 to tomorrow night. Thursday night is when 65 ends. So even if you didn't get me last year and you think you're late, you're not late. I celebrate my whole 365. I don't have a guarantee that I'm waking up on Friday to start celebrating my matching sixes, is what I call. So thank you. But yes, absolutely happy birthday, because you should be celebrating your birth all year long. We got less than 3 minutes to go for today's message. But celebrate. Yeah, when people say, "Oh, happy belated," I say, no, you ain't late. I'm gonna be this blessing all year. And there's those are two of my blessings right there from my Chicago days, especially that one. I had to click that up there again. A born day. There you go. Zelda Shalometh. That's my heart. That's one of my sisters there. Gave me a great opportunity to be on her talk show, and just, she's making things happen, and Coach Tawana is helping people really learn about LinkedIn and technology. And I don't know if you had a chance to, speaking of technology, before checking this out, when I was, whenever I'm preparing and I tested the speakers, so yeah, StreamYard, you got to go on and check out. They got a little song, testing your speakers on StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. And so that's just so good to see how technology is trying to beat. Well, people are personalizing technology because we have to. Don't get less than 2 minutes for today's message, but don't get so caught up and not use technology. It's here for us. You have to do that. You have to do that. And you got to have a wonderful vantage point. Thank you, Coach. But that's what I'm saying again is, technology is about going forward. People say, well, that's the way we used to do it. Yeah, but you know what? We invented the shortcuts. Why are we beating up kids for inventing, for taking advantage of the shortcuts we created for them? That's what we did it for. Let's celebrate them taking advantage of the shortcuts, because they're long cuts for them. I did a post last week. It said people born from 2001 on have never lived in a free America. Have you thought about it? See, that's what I'm saying. It's all about perspective. So, Coach, Tawana, you keep having that wonderful vantage point of helping people learn technology on LinkedIn. And let me quickly take you back to that in less than a minute. But I mentioned in passing quickly, I said StreamYard. Well, StreamYard is where I'm broadcasting from. And so StreamYard so there's going to be always going to be a little time delay in some of the comments that I see versus when I say them. So be ready for that. But I'm on StreamYard, which takes me into Facebook Live. And my slides, my presentation is being done through what's called Prezi, Prezi. So give all the technology shout outs there, but you got to, they all work together when you allow them to. So it's 1 o'clock. And let me tell you, welcome to Glue Wednesday. You see, a lot of people call Wednesday hump day. And so, because that's from the old schools, it's just like how we used to do it. Well, old school, you just worked Monday to Friday, and there was the weekend. We didn't acknowledge, the we didn't acknowledge the flex time, but everybody had to work it. That the hotels and the restaurants, in the cabinet, people were working flex time, but it wasn't it wasn't talked about so much. Okay. And so that's why they said hump day, because that was the day of the week that, people had to get over. So I said, well, why call it a hump day? Why say we have to get over when, in fact, Wednesday is the middle of a traditional 7-day week, regardless of when you work. And so it's the day that keeps the week beginning and the weekend together. So that's why I call it the glue. And that's why I say Glue Wednesday, and GLUE. God's love undoes everything, because we don't need to hump. We need to keep it together. And so that's how I created Glue Wednesday. So let me give us a couple of shout outs there. Roger Carroll, another one of my Chicago, all in the house, okay? And soon to be Grandma Roger Carroll, okay? And what else she's saying that Shalom Zelda got rooms, got noon Zoom. Okay, so she's off. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah, she got it. So she ain't even hearing me say thank her, because she had to get on to another message. Some keep powerful message going. So it's very powerful. Mission Chicago and Smooches. Yes, again, one of my powerful sisters in Chicago, Zelda Robinson, Shalometh. Make sure you check out his HLN, I think, Higher Learning Network. Okay. All right. All right. Hey, but look, let's talk about today's message. All right. And today's message is one that I want to ask you. Have you made yourself a flashback of the Terrible Tooze? Remember the Terrible Tooze? But here's the thing. Hey, wait, gotta give one more shout out, because my creative brothers and board mate from our days where we were volunteering for the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago, Bruce Brown. What's going on? Artist extraordinaire. Are you still doing? Are they still having Black Creativity? I'm sure they didn't have it last year. I hope all is going well with you in the art business. All right. God bless you. Yeah. All right. So, but anyway, the Terrible Tooze, and I'm not talking about, we tend to think about, the Terrible Tooze, we hear about it with kids, when they're 2 years old, this and that. Kids do this, kids do that when they're 2 years old. But here's I'm not talking about the age, and good, and yes, he is still doing that art. Great. I'm gonna put that shout out there. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Keep making it. But the Terrible Tooze, check this out. I'm not talking about 2 years old. I'm talking about how we beat ourselves down and we say we're too short. We're too tall. We're too big. We're too small. We're too inexperienced. We're too undereducated. Have you beat yourself down with the Terrible Tooze, where you're constantly seeing how you're not enough, and in fact that you're too little? And so again, too short, too tall, too big, wrong color, wrong. See, in case you don't use the word too, wrongness, and the wrong education, wrong race, wrong size, wrong sex. Nah, and that's the two. Because the thing is, the truth is that you have always been good at being yourself. You have to be good at being yourself. Yet you've sometimes stalled the process by believing that you weren't. Believing that you weren't ready, or that you didn't have it all together. Well, let me tell you something. You still don't have it all together, but that doesn't mean that you're not ready. So that's why I say to be or not to be, too big, too small, to be or not to be. It's about you. Today, I'm going to share a poem. Not a poem, a formula for positive self-talk that'll help you embrace and enjoy the fact that you are actually just too much. And that becomes the key. But first, let me make a note that this is not my original title, the Terrible Tooze. Terrible Tooze was the speech title of a fellow contestant whom I enjoyed listening to and learning from, Frank Morris, in 1996 when we both competed on the stage at the Toastmasters International World Championship of Public Speaking, where we finished as one of the top 9 speakers in the world. He actually finished as the second. He finished as the second top speaker in the world in 1996. And in fact, that Toastmasters contest is going on this week and this weekend as well. So that anniversary is coming up. But I want to make sure I give him credit for that, because I know if you follow me and you saw me do and that's an MMM, the Monday morning moment, where I talked about how unprofessional it is to quote somebody and not give them the credit for it. It's, you know, it's very upsetting in our business. It's a very hard thing to get over and to, you know, forgive somebody for. But I say that because one thing I'm going to be saying here today as well is you have to be real. I mean, man, especially these days, people see we're getting so caught up with the cliches that are trying to, you know, to me that the cliches are giving false sense of security. But you got, you know, so let me not, you know, fast forward, because I want to let that fall into that, put that in the context of where it belongs. But the Terrible Tooze was a title that I heard Frank deliver on the stage that day, and I just never forgot it. But you have to remember about those twos. So, second, what I want you to do is think of which of those twos you used against yourself. See, have you ever said that you're to this or not enough? So that's why you're to this and to this. What are some twos? In fact, just give me a yes or no. Have you ever used any of those twos on yourself? And I'll wait, because again, I tell you, there's a pause and a stream delay. So have you ever used those twos against yourself? Yes or no? And or why? Put it in the feed there. We're getting interactive. Boom. Okay, thumbs up is the same as a yes. Yes, I've used them. Okay, thank you, Bruce. Roger Carroll, yes. Okay, yeah. And by the way, if you're watching the tape, if you're watching the videotape, please put your yes and no in there too. Why, Sporty? Why, if I'm not doing it live, why should I be participating in the questions and the feed? Because thank you, Coach Tawano, because one of the things we have to remember, y'all, is that we spend so much time looking for the differences and not enough time focusing on the commonalities. And one of the things that we love, and it's human nature, and we should love, is looking for what we have in common with someone. So even if you're watching it on the tape, just to see how many people deal with the same thing is part of what helps us do what? Glue, keep it together. So again, even if you're watching the tape, you're like, please put your yes or no or your thumbs up or thumbs down in there. Have you put the twos on yourself? Okay. But now what I want you to do is see those twos as silly. One of my affirmations, silly. Self-imposed limitations lie to you. And I actually, this is in my book. It's one of my affirmations, but I used it when I was in Chicago on WGN Minority Business Report. And I create one of my inspirational sayings in my book, Starting Today. And it said, take a moment, sit down and think about some of the things you once told yourself that you couldn't or you wouldn't dare do. Because haven't you said, oh, I would never do that, you know? But now, sit back and laugh at some of the silly reasons you gave yourself to hold yourself back. See, sometimes, you know, I can't do that. And, no, they'll never accept me. This is right with the twos. They'll never accept somebody like me, so my color, my race, my age. You know, we beat ourselves down. We self-eliminate. We've done it so many times in our lives, we can't even count them so far. And that's not a bad thing. It's human nature. Now I want you to make sure you forgive yourself, but recognize that those were silly reasons. Oh, I didn't even do this. I didn't even click so people could see that, because I just realized that y'all will see it in the thread, but I want to see it on the screen. Get my people up there when they answer and yes, 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 and then yes, yes, yes. 3 yeses, all right? Like they say, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 yeses do make a yes. But anyway, they don't say that. I just made it up. And like Roger Carroll told me once, he said, Sporty, if you say it, then it's okay. So thank you. That's how we roll. All right. But anyway, those are the silly things that you use to hold yourself back. But now that you've made it, are you adding up the hurdles that you've eclipsed? See, think about it. Think about all those things. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that, but you did it. If you didn't, you had to make it work. Have you added that up? And you've certainly jumped these hurdles. Have you given yourself credit? Have you been matching, attaching your color, your education, your experience, so your inexperience, your race, your sex, or any other thoughts that allows you to categorize yourself as not the right one? See, stop categorizing yourself as the right one and start categorizing yourself or seeing yourself as the chosen one. Because the reason so many things haven't been done, it's just like, oh my God, I just thought this, that, most of us know mythology. King Arthur, the sword and the stone. So many people couldn't pull it out, and King Arthur pulled it out very easily because he was the right one. It's the same thing with our lives. It's, our doctors, our scientists, everybody is involved at what they're doing. Yes, the chosen one. Amen. Yeah, you are the chosen. What are you chosen for? But all these things that are happening, even when we're dealing with COVID now, there's somebody who it's their job to come up with the cure. And before that person comes up with the cure, someone has to come up with the pause, something to slow it down. They might not be the one to stop it, but they may be the one to slow it down. And then the next person's job is to slow it down more. And then, I'm going to end with it, but I'm going to say it's our job to follow the instructions of what you got there, Coach Tawana, the chosen one. Who has been chosen to deliver us from what Moses was chosen to deliver, but he didn't know it until it was. Look at how old he was by the time he figured that stuff out. Okay, so it's never too late for you to choose to be the one, and it is a choice. That is what we do have to remember, that victory and success is all about the choices. So let me tell you something. In 2017, I'm down here in Charlotte, right? I added to my address and my marketing material, Penthouse 208. Now, I'm a native New Yorker, but I lived in Chicago, so I got my Chicago people on here. And they said, oh, man, so what, are you living in the penthouse? Man, you doing it. I said, right. I said, you know what? The apartment complex I live in, all the buildings had 2 stories, and I lived on the top floor, apartment 208. So the top floor of a building is the penthouse. So therefore, I lived in Penthouse 208. It's because that's how I decided to see it. Well, my friends cracked up laughing. My mailman, Melvin, who ended up becoming my friend, when he saw that and I explained it to him, he loved it. He cracked up laughing too. And so then what would happen is if anybody didn't address, sent on an envelope, didn't address it to me properly, because Melvin, as he was sorting, he had to sort the mail before he delivered it. So here's a sample. He would put Penthouse 206. Okay, I went too far. I got to go back for a second. If people didn't put Penthouse 208 on, Melvin would put it on and put it in my mailbox. Well, okay, but then I moved from one building to another. So I moved from Penthouse 208 to the next building where I was in apartment 207, and I put Penthouse 207. So now when people would address stuff to me on the envelope and they didn't put the apartment number, he would put Penthouse 207. And always deliver my mail, getting somewhere with this. Because here's my favorite one. One day I got in the mail where someone totally sent it to my old address. The one they had a Penthouse 208 on it, but it was the other building that I lived in. He totally, and it was way past, how you get your forwarded mail. It was way past that. That had expired. He wrote my new address in the other building and my penthouse number and delivered it to me. So I want to stop there and say to you, you see, when you change the way you look at things, people change the way they look at you. And that changes that treatment. So as we attach that to the twos, the terrible twos, see, when you say you're not enough, you're too this, you're too that, people will treat you that way. But when you say, no, I'm not too tall, I'm not too short, I'm not too fat, I'm not, I don't have, I do have enough education. I'm not, see, once you say that I'm the chosen one, I'm going to throw that up there again on you, Tawana. Thank you, Coach. When you say that you're the one, people start to see it. But as long as you beat yourself down, people will let you stay down because they just look down at you. It becomes a natural position for you, and it's easy to see you there. You have to see yourself as the chosen one. And when you choose the way you look at things, people choose the way they look at you. And so I had my personal mail carrier. And you see, I was saying Melvin. Because that's his name, and that's how I addressed him, and we spoke to one another, and we had a wonderful relationship. So one of the things I like some of you to do is think about this. I want you to change the way you talk to yourself. Change the way you talk to yourself. And first of all, most people say, oh, well, it's okay to talk to yourself, but just don't answer. Because if you answer yourself, then you're crazy. I tell you something different. I think it's okay to talk to yourself, but I also think that it's important. I also think that it's important that you do answer yourself. Because think about it. If you won't answer yourself, why would somebody else? Right? You know that there are three sides to every story. Yours, mine, and the truth. And when you talk to yourself, you've got the information coming from all of that. You've got all the facts and the emotions associated with any questions that you're asking than anybody else. So who better to make the decision or have the right answer, or at least know the right answer? So talk to yourself, and then here's my key: answer yourself. Answer yourself. Positive self-talk requires that you not only talk to yourself, because we all do it, but don't back away and not answer yourself. And the funny thing is, even in not answering ourselves, sometimes you talk to yourself about not answering yourself. You say, oh, no, don't answer myself because then I'm crazy. You just talk to yourself. You just answered yourself. So answer yourself, okay? But then more importantly, answer honestly. See, not with the cliches, and this is what I was mentioning in the intro, not with the cliches that are actually offer us, I think, a false sense of security and success. Because here's my point. You can be anything you want. No, you can't. No, actually, you really can't be anything that you want to be. But you can still be successful at being who you are. And I'm going to give a shout out. Let's see what Vic got to say there. Everybody, blessings. Good to see you all. Welcome, Vic. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to go back. See, that's the cliche. Oh, you can be anything, anybody, anything you want to be. No, actually, you can't. There's certain things that goes back to the chosen one. You're chosen to be something, someone. And that doesn't mean that you can be something else. You got to be successful at being you. And that becomes the key. And the problem is that we've redefined success with one of its subsets, which is financial. Finance is not the headline of success. It's a subset. You are successful, and you can be financially successful, relationship successful, athletically successful. Those are subsets. So finance is a subset of success. Your success is not restricted to your ability to make money. It is more impacted by your ability to handle change. And change, CHANGE, choices, hardships, accomplishments, negotiations, guidance, empathy. Each of those words conjures up a feeling or memory of something that you've done to survive. And survival equals success. So that's why we have to keep success as the headline and recognize that financial success is a subset, just as survival is the feed for it, because change is the key. You have to be able to handle change. Think about some of the choices that you've made, and good or bad or good. You had to learn to live with them. Don't do regrets. They were the best choice that you had to make with the information that you had to make that decision at the time. Hardships. We've all been through some storms, right? You've heard me say it before. I heard an Air Force chaplain say that the real moral behind the story of the three little pigs was not what type of a house you built, but the fact that the storm was coming. I feel like my woman throwing her hair back because I don't want to. I'd rather throw the headset there. But the storm is coming, and you have been through storms. This is a whole world. Yes, this is a whole word. Yeah, you know it. Thank you. Oh yeah, you know it is. That's what God chose me to do, is to give that word. But so thank you, Coach Swan. Yeah, and then accomplishment. Again, think about the things that you've overcome. And Roger Carroll has been with me when I did this as a seminar called Masters of Change, Masters of Change, embracing challenges, success. Okay, and so so that's I got to do. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring that one back, but so we can focus on our accomplishments. And then negotiations. Haven't you had to give some to get some? You've made some negotiations. You made some moves. You had to cut a little bit off here to gain a little here. We've done that. Guidance. Choose your messages carefully and recognize you're carefully being chosen as a messenger. Someone has mentored you and you've mentored someone. Guidance is important. And then empathy. I've never sat in your shoes. I've never been in your shoes, but I've sat in your row because of empathy. So all of that is a part of change. And that is a whole word. And whole, W-H-O-L-E. You have to be willing to sacrifice. That's the W, willing to sacrifice. The H is for here. You have to be in the moment. The O is on. You have to be on top of your game because the game is always being played. If you think it's not, then you are losing. Get off. You can't play the game from the stands. Get on the field. L is for love. You have to love, L-O-V-E. Let ourselves value everyone. And then the E is still for empathy. So that's a whole word. That's a whole word. And okay, Roger Carroll, bring it back. Okay, let's bring it back. You made me think of James Brown. Okay, yeah, let's bring it back. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to get right on that. All right. So thank you. Now, see, Coach Tawan didn't even know. I got a seminar called The Decision to Win. And the point is you have to be whole to win. You have to be whole. You have to be willing to sacrifice here in the moment, on top of your game, loving everybody and having that empathy. That's what it's all about. So survival equals success. Give yourself credit for the things that you survived. And then therefore, when you answer yourself honestly, that's what you want to do, is give yourself credit. So those are my two big tips for positive self-talk. And that is answer yourself and give yourself credit. And in fact, we can call those instead of the terrible twos, we're going to call those our terrific twos. And then we're going to get this message circulated and shared. Remember, answer yourself and give yourself credit. And here are two ways that you can use me as a resource. One, my passing thoughts cards give you options on being positive and sharing your positivity. So with that self-talk, these cards, Roger Carroll has played it with me, and I'm going to have to post that video again, but, having the passing thoughts, find ways to talk to your spirit, 14 different affirmations that speak to your spirit to tell you that you are too much because you are who you are. But you'll find those at sportyking.com, as well as any of my other inspirational books. And then here's a resource I want to give you through me, and that is, I'm the co-founder of heyugly.org, which is it's a website. But what we do there is that we work on helping teenagers focus on their self-esteem and the fact that they are enough. And see, we could all use a dose of that. So that's why I said, when you do that self-talk, and that's why ugly, and you've heard me say before, unique, gifted, lovable you. That's the positive self-talk. When somebody says, hey, ugly, And I said, well, they're saying, hey, unique, gifted, lovable you. I'm like, hey, well, hey, what's happening? And I'm smart too, simply marvelous and right on time. You have to make sure that you are controlling your vocabulary rather than allowing it to control you. And you can find them at www.heyugly.org. That we got them on we're on Facebook as well as the website, but please go there and help support what we're doing to help teens deal with bullying, suicide, and drug use. Okay, but all of them subsets of self-esteem. That's what we got to have. Because the one thing that we all still know is that we don't have to hump on Wednesdays. We have to keep it together any day of the week. It's not about humping. And I'm not saying, oh, don't let people say hump Wednesday. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying let's find ways to hear ourselves so well that every single word that comes out of our lives gets to be a blessing. It's a very hard thing to do, but there's nothing wrong with making it a goal. So what we got there, Vic, always be positive with yourself, then deal with the rest. And see, that goes also, Vic, with my affirmation focus. Finding ourselves creates unlimited success. Focus on you and let other people come into focus. So imagine if you're being positive with yourself, how that will help you deal with other people, because people see you being positive. And you know what? It's just like this, so I got to get the negative people out of my life. Not really. You have to stay positive and the negative people will stay away from you. Or they'll say, well, I got to get the positive people out of my life. I can out positive any negative person. And so if they decide they want to try to, we go head to head and they go negative, I go positive, they will either say, you know what, I'm going to stay positive. I'm liking what Sporty's dealing. Or they'll say, I got to get away from this dude because I'm trying to stay negative, because I'm staying positive. I'm staying positive. Am I positive 365, 24/7? No. But I'm up more than I'm down. I'm positive more than I'm negative. I'm going forward more than I'm going backwards. And there's nothing wrong with every now and then just stepping back and taking a look at your world. What you say, Coach Tawana? Be the chosen one. And that's what each of us has an opportunity to do. Just step back and look at what you've done. That's that change. See, you can just wrap up everything we said. It doesn't have to be a long message, but you have to find ways to make the message work for you. If I'm not your messenger, get a messenger, because you're mine. Thanks so much for joining me. And remember, man, this pandemic thing, this is not a fad, y'all. This is a health crisis. Now, if P.S. by the way, don't jump on, even though I let Vic go with saying always be positive, I don't like to necessarily use absolutes always and never, but try it. But the reason I want to go back on that is to say, don't be so quick to be upset with someone who's not wearing a mask. There's some people with allergies who cannot wear a mask. But WTF, wear the face mask. All right. But yeah, so again, let's slow down. In fact, I think my post this morning on my regular me talked about how it said something about your say no to drug message. Is sometimes the people in your audience are related to someone who has an addiction problem. And so I'm not saying that you should, promote drug use and suicide and all the negativity, but I want you to know that don't be such a zealot that you're beating somebody up in the audience who they want help, but snatching them is not always the way to help them. They need somebody to say, oh yeah, I think I can trust this person. I can say I need help. That's the key to suicide prevention, is someone feeling that they can talk to you so that to where they because most people, they want to be talked out of suicide, but they don't want to be judged for thinking about suicide. If they're at that point where, I'm thinking about, because that's what it's called, I'm thinking about taking my life. But if I'm not comfortable talking to you because of the way I hear you speak against it, I'm going to still have those negative thoughts in my mind. Y'all, I don't want to get off on a tangent because there's so many things that happen and it all comes together. But let's remember those terrific twos for today. And let's remember to answer ourselves and answer ourselves honestly, okay? All right. And, make yourself, thank you, Bruce. Yeah, make yourself approachable. You make yourself approachable by not deciding people are this way, people are that way. No, everybody is the chosen one. So, look, I'm going to stay on for a minute to deal with the tape delay and answer any questions, but thank you so much for joining Glue Wednesday. I got Gift Friday coming up this week. Gift Friday on my best gift, because it'll be the gift of my matching sixes. I'm scheduled to turn 66 this Friday. And like I said at the beginning, I don't have it in writing that I'm going to get there. So I'm still celebrating 65 till 11:59 Thursday night. And then, what a blessing. But I'll also be, doing a seminar with the, I didn't even give them a shout out, AHATH, which is the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. We're doing a Funny Bones boot camp on Friday to help people find ways to move humor into your business and your presentation. So I'll post the link there because there's a registration fee for non-members, but I'll be one of the presenters. I'll be focusing on public speaking as a part of your business. But we've got someone talking about marketing materials, social media, marketing and posting. So we've just got, that's why we call it a boot camp, because we're also going to let it be we'll have the professionals in place and have the people ask the questions. And I believe we'll be on from 8 to 5 Eastern. So anyway, I'll drop that in there. I'm not going to drop it in this feed. I'm going to drop it in on my page so that you can have full access to it. Okay. This continues to be part of my sanity process. Thank you, Roger Carroll. Thank you. And please don't y'all ever think that the comments don't make a difference to me, because that's what we have to do. Like they say, it's food for thought. Well, if you got slop, that's the food that you're going to be eating. So thank you. I always appreciate hearing that as well. And then what y'all see where Vic wrote G4L, G for Life, that's grant projects. We grew up in grant projects, and we didn't say we were to this, to that. We said, no, I'm too much. I'm going to be taking it to the top. That's right. All right. Amen. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay. We closing it out. All right. Let's close it out. Okay. Over and out. Ciao. Ooh, 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 ooh. And next Monday, my MMM, the Monday Morning Moment. So be sure to share this, y'all. Thanks again. I appreciate you. Over and out. Ciao.